What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got that goofball Minnesota governor Tim Walz implicated in yet another massive scandal after the FBI just revealed $300 million growing legs and vanishing into thin air from a housing stabilization service in his state. Guys, I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, top straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Wake of Carol Levin's investigation that exposed widespread fraud allegations in the state's program to help the homeless find housing. Investigative reporter AJ Legault is here with these new developments in Housing Hustle, a Recovery Inc. investigation. AJ?
Hey, Julie. Stop the hemorrhaging. That's a fair characterization of what Governor Walz said he's attempting to do by stopping payment today to 50 companies that are part of the $100 million a year taxpayer-funded housing program, a program our investigation revealed is rife with alleged fraud. Now, for months, we've been telling you about forged signatures, millions in suspicious billing, and vulnerable people left waiting for housing help that never came. Earlier this month, there were federal raids, and now the governor says he's using one of the new fraud reform measures passed by the legislature to stop payments while the fraud investigation plays out.
And I will tell you just candidly, I am using one aggressively today and stopping payments to most of the people involved in this program. Those have happened today, and the payments that were scheduled to go today are not going out to them.
Governor Walz said he agrees with Minnesota's acting U.S. attorney, who recently stated that fraud across Minnesota's safety net programs could top $1 billion. Minnesota's Republican congressional delegation has asked the DOJ to launch a formal investigation into what they label the state's failure to responsibly administer these programs. For Carol Levin Investigates, I'm AJ Legault.
AJ, you've just done phenomenal work, albeit incredibly frustrating, the things that you have uncovered. That's just one small slice, but it could be up to $100 million in payments.
This sudden shutdown comes as we're learning new details about the extent of the fraud problem in the Housing Stabilization Services program. The Department of Human Services now says nearly 80 providers are accused of fraud in a massive scheme involving Medicaid money. Last month, federal agents searched multiple homes and businesses, including a company inside this office building in St. Paul. The FBI says those companies claim to be helping vulnerable Minnesotans find homes, but in reality, clients received little or no actual services or assistance, and the fraudsters took large Medicaid payouts anyway. The state program was originally supposed to cost about $2.5 million each year, but last year alone, that number ballooned to more than $100 million. Now, no one has yet been charged as part of the federal investigation.
All right, you guys, some of this stuff is truly unbelievable. That was a brief introduction into this massive scandal that we've seen being carried out right underneath the nose of that Minnesota governor, Tim Walz, with the Housing Stabilization Services getting away with so much money. Supposed to be helping homeless folks in Minnesota find a home, find somewhere to stay, but yet the program abused the funds. There was almost no oversight. I found a quick little article here that kind of breaks it down. It says when the program started in 2020, it was estimated that it would cost taxpayers about $2.5 million a year. But by 2021, it cost $21 million. And then last year in 2024, it ballooned up to $104 million. So we can clearly see that someone is taking advantage of the taxpayers' dime. They don't care. They seem they could get away with a little bit of fraud in 2020, and then it just ramped up from there. We got the FBI saying that the housing program has proved to be extremely vulnerable to fraud and list 8 business locations where the alleged fraud took place. What is going on in Minnesota? And I actually found a very interesting graphic that kind of just illustrates this. We don't even have to say anything. You can see this fraud and how it just exponentially grows over the years. Right here in 2021, they got away with 21 million. Then I'm like, okay, well, we got away with that. Let's double it. The next year follows. 2022 is 42 million. and then 2023, 74 million. So it just continues to double. And then last year, it grew to its height at 104 million. They thought they could get away with it, but it drew a major red flag. And the original intent of this program was to help families in need, those that were homeless, that were going through tough times, to help them find services so that they could find a home ultimately. But that money did not go to where they were saying it was going. We're actually seeing signatures forged. We're seeing that families did not sign off or receive little to any help from these folks. I actually got a clip that shows firsthand the families that were affected that were still left homeless behind these fraudulent crimes.
KARE 11 investigation discovered a St. Paul company collecting thousands of dollars from taxpayers while a desperate family they claim to be helping is left homeless. Here's AJ Legault with the latest findings in Housing Hustle, a Recovery Inc. investigation.
Family. It should mean stability. Home. Not wondering where you'll sleep next.
She keeps asking if we're in a new place.
Ben Gutowski's 7-year-old little girl keeps asking when their family will have a home.
We keep telling her soon. Yeah, I don't know what soon means at this point.
Ben and his wife Haley are living out of ever-changing Airbnbs.
Having to move every month, all of your stuff.
A cycle that started in the fall of 2024 after going to New Way, where they successfully completed treatment for substance use disorder. They'd battled addiction, were in recovery, but essentially homeless.
We've been sober for over a year now, and we're trying to get everything back on track and get into a place.
They signed up with a company called Pristine Health. Pristine claims to provide housing stabilization services, or HSS, a Medicaid-funded program to help the elderly and disabled, including those with substance use disorder, find and maintain housing.
We've been counting on them to find us housing and work on listings and talk to apartments.
But the couple says months passed. They never met anyone from Pristine in person. They were sent no listings to review, went on no apartment tours. They were, basically, ghosted.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
Then Ben saw stories by KARE 11, exposing companies accused of exploiting the HSS program to commit millions of dollars in fraud.
Sounded unfortunately familiar.
Ben contacted KARE 11 Investigates, and we began working with him to get his HSS records. What we uncovered involves a web of companies and what Ben calls fraud and forgery.
It's supposed to be right there. Supposedly that is my signature.
We found the suspect's signature on a housing consultation plan done by a company called Foundation First, for which they billed Medicaid $174. Ben says his only interaction with Foundation First was a brief phone call.
That's nuts.
Even though, by law, the consultation requires his legal signature.
You're saying that's forged?
Yeah, it has to be.
We started looking into Foundation First and got a surprise. Their listed mailing address on the Secretary of State website is a Woodbury home KARE 11 had already paid a visit. We'd been to the vacant home months ago, looking for another HSS company registered there called Brilliant Minds Services. Our investigation had uncovered evidence suggesting Brilliant Minds was billing taxpayers millions for housing help clients said they never received.
100% scam.
In the wake of that report, DHS suspended payment to Brilliant Minds and a federal fraud investigation was launched. Both companies also list office headquarters here in St. Paul at the Griggs building. Our investigation discovered this place is home to about 24 companies billing Medicaid for housing stabilization services. It also has ties to companies caught up in the Feeding Our Future scandal. Foundation First office has no signage. In an email, its owner, Abdi Fattah Mohammed, denied wrongdoing and initially agreed to meet for an interview, but then backed out, writing, "On the advice of legal counsel, we will not be engaging in further direct communication with you." Back to Ben. That consultation by Foundation First is what greenlighted Pristine Health to begin billing his Medicaid. Billing a lot.
I couldn't tell you what even one of those would be.
The records reveal Pristine Health billed Medicaid 46 different times, each time claiming to have spent 2 hours helping Ben find housing.
That shows you received more than 90 hours of service in about 7 months.
That's crazy. That's mind-blowing.
All told, Pristine Health billed Ben's Medicaid more than $6,000. Taxpayers were also billed double. Records show Pristine charged Medicaid thousands of dollars, claiming to separately help Haley find housing.
They just billed us for nothing.
Yep.
Pristine Health is located on Grand Ave in St. Paul, in the basement of the Oxford Square Shopping Center. They never responded to emailed interview requests, so we paid them a visit.
White piece of paper on the door says it's open at 9 a.m. Doesn't look like anybody's here, even though it's during their listed business hours.
Ben says when he began demanding answers, an owner of Pristine Health, a man named Ahmed Mohammed, met with him.
Didn't have anything, just tried to validate how this whole thing has been playing out and told me this is just how HSS works.
Taxpayers charged, his family left homeless.
Yep.
After coming to the conclusion that they were being strung along and exploited, Ben and Haley started their own housing search and did what the so-called housing experts at Pristine Health apparently could not. They recently found their own apartment, Julie.
Well, his statement at the end there, it does appear this is the way HHS works. I mean, sadly, this has been so common. You've had so many of these stories. And you were telling me earlier that they budgeted initially $2.5 million at the state level for this program.
Something right in that ballpark was what they expected to spend in a year. Last year, they were way over $100 million. So far this year, in about 6 months or so that we know of, 6-7 months, they're over $60 million.
And we have any idea how much of that is fraud?
People you could house for $60 million.
Including that couple that became sober and then underwent all this stress because they can't find a home. It's just so discouraging.
It's like a 13th step, if you will, trying to
absolutely
get on the right path.
Wow, guys, and that one right there was very touching. I had to include that clip. Even though it was a little longer, I wanted you guys to hear a first-hand story from families that have been affected by these so-called housing experts reaching out and saying that they could help their family find a home, start over for the better for their daughter. Come to find out they're using, abusing, charging their Medicaid endlessly, and then offering no services in return. These folks are still left out on the streets. I actually found a clip from the active Minnesota U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson. He's at the scene of a search warrant in St. Paul, and this is also related to the housing stabilization services. And he's calling out the fraud, saying these folks are going to have to pay. They're going to get to the bottom of it because we still don't know where did this money float out and go to. I mean, this is over $300 million in the last 4.5 years. We still don't know where the money went to. We just know that it did not go to these folks that still need a home.
Investigation, what are you looking for?
We're investigating fraud and obviously to stop fraud.
It looks pretty extensive, Mr. Thompson, with 8 different locations. Are you guys all at the scenes right now of these doing this same work?
Yep, the agents are on at all the search sites.
How concerned should Minnesota taxpayers be, just seeing these numbers? They're pretty eye-popping in the actual search warrant itself.
Obviously, fraud's a huge problem in Minnesota, and hopefully today will help put a stop to some of it.
Do you know if any arrests have been made in connection with
Not today. Thank you all.
All right, so no arrests have been made as of yet, but we see those search warrants definitely came up with some evidence. I can't wait to see where this one progresses to. We know who's running that state of Minnesota over there, Governor Tim Walz, and we need to take a look into what he's got going on if he's not involved directly with this whole scam. Of course, we got folks buzzing on the net. Folks are talking on X, and they're not happy. We got Elliot Engine here on X tweeting out saying the housing stabilization grant fraud is not just an example of a single state program being defrauded, it's indicative of the entire state system being built to encourage fraud. I mean, come on, where is I'm just trying to figure it out myself. I can't piece this together. How is there no oversight? We don't know about this until it's at the end and all the money's all the way out the door. I mean, $300 million later, you're telling me now there's a problem. I mean, there should have been oversight this entire time. 4.5 years of these folks going unchecked. It makes no sense to me. I just don't understand. Then we got No Privacy on X chiming in saying just because they terminate the program does not mean an audit can't be done. Someone subpoena all the records now. Come on, Bondi, do something. And I mean, they keep saying that the program was terminated, so there is nothing else to look at. There's nothing more we can do, but they could definitely still subpoena all the records. Look into where this money is being funded. I mean, this is very simple to figure out. All you have to do is, basic, follow the money. That's what we're going to do, and we can get straight to the bottom of this. No ifs, ands, whats, or buts. We got Deborah Bunsberg here on X tweeting out saying, typical Walz, the guy knows he is the governor of endless fraud. Give the guy a crown. I mean, this is definitely Tim Walz 101. We just got to think about all the scandals scandals, the fraud that's been exposed in his state of Minnesota. We had that, the Feeding Our Future scandal. That was $300 million COVID relief funds. One of the most historic COVID relief frauds that we've seen to this day. We've seen autism center fraud scandals going down the state, Minnesota. We've seen the whole Vance Bolter assassin. I don't know if that was a scandal or he was like hired. I'm not sure. We still haven't got to the bottom of that either. We've seen this guy bankrupting a $1 billion campaign in less than 100 days with Kamala Harris. This guy, Tim Walz, is always at the center of it every single time. He's right there in close proximity when there is fraud going down. Who got this money? I really want to know. Then we got our friend Roscoe Smith here on X tweeting out saying, how does $100 million get stolen in your state through government funded programs and you know nothing about it? Arrest Tim Walz already. I mean, the incompetency, it tells everything. I mean, if you don't have the knowledge, the know-how, you shouldn't be in that seat as governor. I can't even believe they had this guy running to probably be the second in command, the vice president of the United States of America. You just really can't make this kind of stuff up. We got Seth Kaplan here on X weighing in as well, saying just in, Minnesota DHS asking to terminate the Housing Stabilization Services program, which has been ripe with fraud. DHS is requesting the Fed to take unprecedented steps ending the program. And then he ended off with a note saying program isn't going away. It's just going to be redesigned and then relaunched. And this is what really stuck with me right here. The program not going away, just being restructured or getting a little makeover and then coming right back. I don't think this is the way to go. We can't take this route. I mean, especially if they're not going to implement some type of oversight or, a way to check these folks. We can't continue to let these folks get away with it and then think, okay, they're just going to bring it back under a new name. No. These folks have to be held accountable. The corrupt, the bad actors, all the folks that played a role in this massive scandal, defrauding the Minnesota taxpayers of over $300 million in the last 4.5 years. Absolutely insane. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. Talk about a massive fraud state. Seems like the state of Minnesota is just home for fraudulent scandals, and it's all run by that governor, Tim Walz. We cannot let him continue to distance himself from the situation. Just because he called for the defunding of these programs does not mean that he's not linked in and connected. He's just trying to cover his hide. Really hope to see that they get to the bottom of this. Investigators, they've already carried out multiple search warrants. And hopefully the evidence is very clear. I mean, all you have to do right there, in my opinion, is follow the money, see who's actually receiving these funds, because it's clear that none of these folks that actually needed the services received any help, any assistance. They were just endlessly billing their Medicaid, and that's not right. We have to draw the line for these corrupt and bad actors, guys. But definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open, and I'm excited to hear what you guys were thinking on this, or maybe you guys got more details on this story, because I just don't know. Where did the money go? I did tons of research. I still couldn't figure out where the money went on the back end. Hop in that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, we'll catch you guys on the next week.